I don't like to use the word hate, but I hate myself for making myself watch this movie voluntarily, let's just say.
Like, I wasn't expecting much, but I thought it was actually really good. It might be, like, in my top, like, 3 movies
of the year?
I thought I can't get through
Is this a
it.
bit? Okay.
I was really trying. I had a whole thing planned about, but I couldn't keep my face straight.
Chris, you had me.
This movie was dog water. It was freaking terrible. It's definitely one of the worst movies I've seen this year. I don't know. What do you think, Steve?
Oh, man, I was really looking forward to having a heated debate with you because
an easy win for you is what you're
I totally agree. Chris, I like to think sitting down on Instagram with brain rot would be more productive than sitting down watching this movie. It was definitely one of the worst movies I've ever seen. The worst! I feel like this movie was just made for the real, like, cinephile film bros to put their nose up at people. But you guys just don't understand the pure genius of Francis retelling. It's his version of the utopia society building. And I'm like, I don't care. I thought it was quite bold of Francis to write the main character as this tortured genius who no one understands.
No one understands.
I'm like, come on, man. Like,
I was kind of thinking here, actually. So, like, the kids, like, they're all trying to steal his money. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, maybe this is Francis Ford Coppola kind of making this is a message to his heirs. Because this movie, let me double check. I think the budget was like
120.
Yeah, it's $120 million budget.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, he had to put all the money up. He's been saving for this forever because no studio in the right mind's gonna put money down for this.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even market it, so he had to shell out more money. And to me, I'm like, if this is just him, like, maybe he's got a bunch of heirs, like kids, grandkids that are trying to mooch off that money, waiting for him to die. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to show you a lesson. I'm going to spend it all on this movie that's not going to make a dime. And then I'm going to make the movie about how this grandpa rich guy does not want to give these kids the money, And I mean, if you look at it that way, it's kind of a fun story.
Yeah.
I just want to know the one person that it just resonates. That's just like Frank sitting there like, I get it, from It's Always Sunny.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't have many pros. I think I'd still put it slightly above Borderlands. And to me, it's more respectable for Coppola. He swung. All right, he missed. He struck out or whatever, but he swung. Yeah. He didn't strike out looking here,
Mm-hmm.
I feel confident that the studio had no effect on this. Like, they had no imprint.
Yeah.
Like, some movies you're like, like Zack Snyder is like, oh, the studio made me cut this and this. I only do my Snyder cut and it's all totally different,
Yeah.
But this one, you're just like,
that was all you, baby.
Clearly, no studio touched this, and this is 100% him. Shia was good. In this movie, it's so bizarre, so weird, that, like, some actors you could tell, like, bought into it regardless. So, like, Shia, I'm convinced that him dressed as a woman might be the ugliest person I've ever seen. Like, it is absolutely revolting. Like,
oh, yes. Yeah, I 100% agree. So I was under the impression that this was going to be like a modern retelling of kind of like the fall of Rome, and how empires crumble and fall by the hubris and by the taking of power and, all that stuff. And I was interested to see kind of like a modern retelling, like allegorical version of how empires fall. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. However, this movie, it got bogged down with so much like what I deem as pretentious just nonsense, in my opinion. It's just really aggressively, again, not for me. The acting, I guess, was just kind of there. If people said things and did things, they showed up on the day, and the story was a bunch of commie gobbledygook.
Yes, it was.
A lot of people misunderstood Francis and his genius back in the day when movies first came out. That seems to be what's happening again. A lot of negative reviews, including ours. Do you think 10, 15, 20 years from now, we'll look back and be like, Francis was on to something. He was really ahead of his time.
We got to be careful. Yeah, this will be like our getting canceled. How people, they'll go back, pull tweets from 15 years ago of just saying like outrageous.
Well, these guys hated Megalopolis. They lose all credibility.
Yeah.
They're going to pull this back up and be like, you guys call yourself movie podcasters and you don't like the greatest movie of all time? You smooth brains can't understand a plot. If you did like this, I'm really curious as to why, but I'm just imagining any person that says they like this as like the Minkus, Boy Meets World character, like, well, actually, they're not only lying to me, but they're lying to themselves,
Yeah.
Thanks for watching these highlights from our episode of the Stale Popcorn Podcast. If you want to listen to the full episode, click on the link in the description. Please like, share, and subscribe, and if you do that with your favorite YouTuber, I'm sure they would appreciate it too. Thanks, and have a great day.
Popcorn?